Stream. It is Friday, January 6th, 2023, 9:33 a.m. Central Standard Time if you're watching us live. Crypto market cap hasn't moved a whole lot in the past 24 hours, sitting at $815 billion. Bitcoin dominance sitting at 39.6%. ETH dominance inched up to 18.8%. As you can see, Bitcoin has not moved a whole lot here in the past 24 hours. Right now, sitting at $16,767. ETH sitting at 1250. Binance 256, Dogecoin 7.1 cents, Cardano 27 cents, Matic bleeding a little bit, sitting right around 78 cents. Headed over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We can see that we are having a green day, and this is probably because the dollar or the DXY is trending downwards. And as we know, when this bleeds, we can't expect stocks and crypto to rally as a result. But when this rips to the upside, we see the reverse. As we can see, Bitcoin here in the past few hours has been retesting some lows here at 16,700 and then right around 16,670. Bulls have found some momentum once again bringing price action just a little bit over 16,800 here in the past 2 or 3 hours. We'll see if this continues into the weekend. Again, not super bullish considering everything that we're learning here day to day. I think we're in for some pain, unfortunately. Again, we will more or less retest $16,600 Bitcoin at some point. If that falls through, next stop is right around 16,400 and then 16,200 and so forth. Again, things not looking great on the daily chart, but you don't need me to tell you that. Headed over to Twitter for some news. Recently became a dad. This guy says I bought 0.21 Bitcoin, locked it up in cold storage, and will hand it to my daughter on her 21st birthday. That will be quite the gift when she turns 21. 0.21 Bitcoin in 20 years' time could be worth potentially a few $100,000. Just let that sink in again as more and more people realize and see the utility behind Bitcoin and how it's a hedge against inflation. So that's pretty cool. What's not so cool is that 12 years ago today, someone spent 130 Bitcoin, roughly $2 million worth on coffee beans. Could you imagine that? Uh, Viewing your Bitcoin so worthless that you trade it for some coffee beans, a few cups of coffee. Pretty crazy stuff. BlackRock adding Bitcoin to its list of assets for its global allocation fund. Again, just a reminder that's that's showing you that Bitcoin is far from dead. Bitcoin poised to transition to a digital version of gold, according to Bloomberg Intelligence. Again, more and more people are going to pile into Bitcoin as the narrative is realized that Bitcoin is digital gold. Bloomberg Intelligence says Bitcoin may revisit $10,000 in 2023 or this year. The bottom is in. I don't think the bottom is in. I think Bitcoin will revisit $10,000 some point later this year. That's not to say it doesn't just bounce immediately. I guarantee you there's a lot of buyers just below $10,000, but that's just my speculation. Crypto focused bank Silvergate Capital fires 40% of its staff. Pretty crazy stuff, experiencing some massive layoffs. SEC has charged the creator of CoinDeal Crypto, as well as seven others, with $45 million worth of fraud. SEC really clamping down on people in the crypto space. Genesis parent company Digital Currency Group, or DCG, just shut down its $3.5 billion worth wealth management division, per the information. pretty crazy stuff. Crypto lender Genesis fires 30% of its staff. Again, we're seeing massive layoffs occurring across the board, not only in the crypto sector, but I believe also at Bed Bath and Beyond, Amazon, Walmart, to name a few. So not a good sign for things to come. Digital asset news, or Rob says, not a gamer, but this makes sense as to why Web3 slash gaming slash crypto will have real utility and help people financially who do play these games. This is building off a tweet that Bryson put out saying the average person spends $20 a month playing video games. 50 years of gaming would cost about $12,000 on average. I guarantee you most people spend way more than that on gaming on average over the course of 50 years. Probably at least double that amount. But anyways, that's not even including the time spent when you add up the total hours spent gaming. Web3 ownership and gaming isn't nice to have, it's a necessity. So, the whole idea behind Web3 gaming is essentially if you earn a skin, let's say you earn a particular camo on a video game, you want to get rid of the video game, well, you could theoretically sell that skin to another user on the video game, and you can essentially earn some of your time back that you spent grinding hours and hours again on that video game. So kind of cool. I think that's a very cool development that Web3 will bring about. New York Attorney General sues Celsius co-founder Alex Mashinsky for making false statements to investors. As we discussed yesterday, Rob from Digital Asset News pointed out how this gentleman, Alex Mashinsky, while in the terms of service for Celsius, it clearly says that any assets that you keep on Celsius belongs to them, essentially. He said time and time again that the crypto that you put on Celsius, in his own words, is not Celsius's crypto, it is your crypto. So good thing that AG over New York is going after this son of a gun because he's getting with billions of dollars. Not to say uh, U.S. government officials should be confiscating billions of dollars worth of crypto. Personally, I would just rather the funds be returned to retail. You know, people like myself and many others have plenty of friends who had their funds wrapped up in Celsius, and when that whole thing fell apart, it was not good. Update: DOJ is squeezing FTX underscore official, Perps, SBF, Caroline Capital, and Gary Wang hard for way more than FTX slash Alameda malfeasance. DOJ slash SEC wants decisive and quick wins within the entire crypto lending and trade ecosystem. Any and all desks in the crosshairs. So again, looking like SEC and DOJ wants to go on a massive clampdown in the crypto space. I think we do need to see some more bleedage out of crypto as a result. I think it's inevitable at this point. Probably going to see some lower prices out of Bitcoin and crypto as a whole. Bitcoin only. Why do we need crypto? A lot of people say, well, it's for the faster transactions, more efficient finance, own digital art. And the real reason why we need crypto is to remove the state from the money printer. And we do that by buying and hodling Bitcoin. This is what the same amount of money buying groceries got you in 1998 versus today. Inflation evaporates money's purchasing power. Look, just 10 years' time going into the recession, the '08 recession. Look how small um, the look at how much groceries you can get for the same amount of money that you could get in '98. This is today. Just let that sink in. The Federal Reserve is evaporating, sorry, your purchasing power. Just a friendly reminder. Biden, upon the jobs report that came out today, we're going to go over that a little bit briefly here in a second. He says it's great news for the U.S. economy, but then he says we still have work to do to bring inflation down. So clearly, it's not where he wants them to be. Again, it looks good on paper. Oh, yeah, we have very low unemployment. But as we know, Federal Reserve's role in all of this is actually to make unemployment skyrocket. Something I wanted to point out on this little page right here, the number of persons employed part time for economic reasons at 3.9 million changed little in December. These individuals who would have preferred full time employment were working part time because their hours had been reduced or they were unable to find full time jobs. The number of persons not in the labor force who currently want a job fell 352,000 to 5.2 million in December and is a little different from its February 2020 level of 5.1 million. As we all know, March of 2020 is when COVID swept havoc across the world and we saw unemployment skyrocket like crazy. These individuals were not counted as unemployed because they were not actively looking for work during the 4 weeks preceding the survey or were unable to take a job. And that's the thing, guys. A lot of these unemployment numbers are not to be taken too seriously. They're going to underreport the unemployment numbers because the reality is there's plenty of people back in '08 recession who lost their job and, a lot of people ended up just giving up looking for work. Unfortunately, that's a reality we need to understand and understand that um, it's more, what is it? It's more, it's a reality that we don't want to admit exists, but that's the way it works. And based off of this report, Federal Reserve is not doing enough with their interest rate hikes, so they need to do more. So just a reminder, the Fed effed up by printing too much money back in 2020, causing high inflation, effectively taxing the poor and the middle class. Now the Fed F's up by fixing their F up by forcing layoffs, effectively firing the poor and middle class from their jobs. That's effed up. And we know this all happens via the interest rate hikes that we unfortunately are going to see more of here in 2023. As we can see, Fed's George saying Fed will maintain rates until 2024 again. So no side of a pivot coming here in the next year. Not good news for the average investor like you and myself, but we can probably expect lower prices. Hence why it's good to stack some cash on the side, keep some dry powder. Here we have Bank of Japan now announcing unscheduled buying operations. Another one, Bank of Japan is showing us how broken the system really is, and this is just showing you that they're going to buy these bonds. They're going to have the money printer go burr, and when money printer goes burr, inflation persists and accelerates. Philadelphia Fed state coincident indexes, number of states with negative growth, average threshold, we're just about there, experiencing around 26 states here in the United States experiencing negative growth. Not a great sign for things to come. What's interesting is the U.S. tipping into a recession and some. A threshold estimate based on this analysis shows that 26 states need to have negative growth and the SCI to have reasonable confidence that the national economy entered into recession. Excluding the 2008 outlier raises the threshold to 29 states. So either way we look at this, not very good. It is rather interesting, like this gentleman says, interesting that they released in the middle of the holiday while no one was attention. Yeah, that's usually how they run things over there. Imagine thinking the democratic process of choosing a speaker is somehow bad for democracy when our representatives are free to disagree, when consensus is hard earned rather than commanded. That's when representative government is meaningful and worthy of admiration. Exactly. um, it's crazy how this discourse is highlighted as a bad thing. If anything, it's a good thing because certain individuals are demanding certain things from people like Kevin McCarthy, and as a result, those demands are more likely to be met, with them basically withholding a vote for him. So good on the people speaking out against Kevin McCarthy. Good on you guys for withholding your votes from that monster. Pardon me, but I don't care about the speaker fight because the GOP sucks. But I have a few friends among the 20 holdouts, and let me tell you this: any pundit slash politician who's telling you that no specific demands have been made is lying to your face. Demands have been made, specific ones. Biggest problem McCarthy is facing is that there are 5+ Republican congressmen who would be perfectly happy if the House did absolutely nothing for 2 years. And that's the thing. There's a saying: when nothing's happening in Washington, when Congress can't agree on something, that's supposedly the best time for the country. Because when they agree on something, you're getting screwed from both sides. Here we have Representative Boebert saying we're in day two. It's okay. The government isn't spending money, sending it to Ukraine. So the American taxpayers are certainly winning. So she's kind of that camp that when government's kind of in lock, they're not getting a whole lot done. That's actually for the better. Happening now, McCarthy caves, gives into every demand made by GOP detractors, the people who are holding out his votes. Uh, good on them again for fighting the good fight. What's happening to McCarthy right now proves that Jimmy Dore was right about force the vote. Now, here's just a reminder of what Jimmy Dore was pushing on his show. He was basically talking about how all these Democrats, these supposed progressives, were going to hold their vote before Nancy Pelosi took Speaker of the House position. But they had all the leverage to get the demands that they want, that they supposedly want for the people they serve in their respective districts. But when it came time, when push came to shove, they didn't stand up. They didn't, you know, withhold their votes for Pelosi. They just gave her the votes with no fight, making zero demands. So again, this is showing that Jimmy Dore was right. Again, something like Medicare for all, I'm not exactly on that policy. I'm not saying I entirely agree with it, but it was interesting to see these progressives just cave in a heartbeat when it came to giving Nancy Pelosi her vote she needed to become Speaker of the House. So, again, just showing you how the progressives claim, oh yeah, we're all for you, blah blah blah, but really the Republicans have a little bit more of a spine when it comes to standing up against person who wants to be Speaker of the House. That's not to say both parties aren't trash. I think both parties are absolute trash. I think we need to vote third party here moving forward, but that's just my political opinion. Taking a few days to elect a speaker is not embarrassing. Congress passing a $1.7 trillion spending bill without reading it that secure the borders of Oman and Jordan, but not our own country, is embarrassing. Yeah, wholeheartedly agree. I'm fascinated the same people railing Damar Hamlin's medical procedure status is nobody's business. We're adamant that we all share our medical procedure statuses with every bar and restaurant owner, concert venue, and airline for 2 years. Hashtag facts, not fear. Hashtag right side of history. Yeah, it's really crazy. It's utter hypocrisy from a lot of people. Um, who happened to be on the left, wanted you to share your medical history just to enter a concert, just to go to a club, a restaurant downtown, even a library, stuff like that, take public transit, etc. But now they're screeching, saying, "Oh well, it's none of your business whether he took a particular medical procedure." It's like, you gave an F literally 6 to 12 months ago. Now you claim to not give an F. Like, what gives? What is it? Make up your mind. Kremlin saying Russia will declare a truce with Ukraine from 1200 hours on January 6th to 2400 hours on January 7th. To my knowledge, Putin essentially declared an armistice for, I believe, 36 hours because an Orthodox church leader over in Ukraine asked him to do so. Again, could this just be a PR stunt? Not exactly sure, but Ukraine is rejecting Russia's proposal for a temporary Orthodox Christmas ceasefire. So glad to see that Ukraine is so hell bent on keeping the war going 24/7. In other news, we have South Africa's ruling party saying BRICS should admit more members. Expansion is coming. The times are changing. Robert Malone commenting on the World Economic Forum, declaring people have no right to own their cars. You can walk or share cars. He says to this that the WF has completely lost perspective. They think that they are already in command of the world, and that's a thing. Their leader from the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, sounds and looks like a Bond villain. Kind of has that N4ZI kind of approach to things where you will own nothing and be happy. The state will own everything and anything. But yeah, he's very misguided, Klaus, that is, on how the world should work. Not claiming to know how the world should work or how it should function, but what Klaus and the WF want for us, collectively speaking, is not very good. Truth is spreading. Play the clip.
Todo el tiempo no sabemos bien qué son los Bitcoin, pero ya hay gente que lo pondera como una especie de alternativa monetaria. ¿Vos creés que es posible en Argentina esa discusión? A ver, ¿cuál es el punto? El punto es que lo primero que hay que comprender es que el Banco Central es
I
una
love how he
estafa,
lays this out.
¿sí? Es un mecanismo por el cual los políticos estafan a las personas de bien con el impuesto inflacionario. El Bitcoin lo que está representando es la vuelta del dinero a su creador originario, que es el sector privado. El dinero es una invención del sector privado para resolver problemas, digamos, lo que tiene que ver con, en una economía de trueque sería la doble coincidencia y la indivisibilidad, y después aparece el papel, digamos, como una cuestión de portabilidad. O sea, porque en realidad vos tuviste distintas monedas, o sea, tuviste el lino, el trigo, digamos, la sal, de ahí viene salario, de ahí sí. La superstición de si se cae la sal en la mesa, y eso evolucionó y las monedas que eligieron los agentes, que fueron los individuos, eligieron la plata para las transacciones chicas, el oro para las transacciones grandes, y eso después, digamos, como era un peligro cargarlo, entonces, ¿qué hacían? Lo dejaban depositado y se llevaban un comprobante de que estaba eso ahí. Y después, en 1445, digamos, en el primer congreso de Génova, digamos, los estados se apropiaron de, digamos, de tener la exclusividad para poder emitir. Es que es el curso forzoso, que esta es la clave. ¿Por qué? Porque el curso forzoso es lo que le permite a los políticos robarte con el impuesto inflacionario. El Bitcoin no, digamos, tiene un algoritmo y un día va a llegar a una determinada cantidad y no hay más. Y puede competir con otras monedas. De hecho, compite contra Ethereum, compite contra otros. ¿Y qué es lo interesante? Que es la vuelta del sector privado. Pero ¿cuál es el problema? El problema es que los estados no te van a querer ceder que del curso forzoso, porque del curso forzoso te estafan con el impuesto inflacionario. Entonces, el Bitcoin es la reacción natural frente a la estafa que son los bancos centrales y que el dinero vuelva a ser privado, y la contracara es que los políticos ladrones no te van a perder.
So I like the way he put that out. Basically, it returns currency to the private sector as opposed to letting it being controlled by the central banks, which, as we all know, they inflate our currency like madmen, which devalues it, which over time, as we saw over here, this is the power inflation in action. You guys, back in '98, you could buy a full cart of groceries with, I don't know how much money that was, but let's say $100. Then in 2008, you can only get roughly like maybe half of your grocery cart full, and then with the same money here today, you can only get maybe a quarter of your cart full. Just let that sink in again. Do we really want central banks controlling everything anymore? Personally, I'm in the group that thinks we shouldn't allow them to continue this madness, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. I unfortunately think massive layoffs are coming, not just from the crypto sector, but also big name brands like Amazon, Walmart, etc. So prepare for what's to come. If you have a job right now, maybe start preparing an emergency fund for the event that you are laid off. Maybe you have a few hundred, a few $1,000s to cover bills for a few months time. And if you continue to hold a job, maybe you can use part of that emergency fund to continue to invest. I do think emergency fund is something we should all be interested in putting together. But nonetheless, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's stream. Please like and subscribe, hit notification bell to be notified when we go live next. Please share the video with your friends and family if you found it education, entertaining, or informative. I will see you guys all this coming Monday, January 9th at 9:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, please take care and invest wisely and have a great weekend.